Hello and welcome to Moessieurs. For this new video dedicated to MODX M, it will also apply to the Montage M and expanded SoftSynth plugin. Today's topic is about Unison. In this video, I'm going to explain to you what Unison is. We have it on AN X parts, but we don't have it on AWM2 and FMX synthesis. I'm also going to explain, with an effect we have, how we can try to get close enough to reproduce the Unison. Before we start, as a reminder, if you like the video content, please click on like. Feel free also to click on the boost button to promote this video in YouTube recommendations. What is Unison? Talking about singing in unison means two people sing exactly the same notes. What's interesting about Unison is that you can detune a little bit, not to create an harmony, but to create something smoothly different. We have that for each AN X parts. Let's go to Navigation. On Dark Vintage Performance, I select Part 1, and I go to the AN X settings here. That's where you find the Unison settings. Here, I've turned it off to explain the polyphony management with AN X Unisson. Let's hear what it sounds like. I'm going to activate Unison. We have two Unison type. Unison 2 or Unison 4. The more Unison you add, the more it will affect the polyphony. There is a detune setting to detune slightly the Unison, to do not have something that is exactly the same superimposed sound. In fact, Unison is superimposed the sound, like if we copy the part, with a smooth detune. There is also a third setting here, which is the spread. This is the diffusion. It's a setting that allows you to widen the sound a little bit. Choosing Unison 2 or Unison 4 is important in terms of polyphony management, which is why I was talking about effects earlier to emulate Unison. The more Unison you add, the more polyphony you lose, because you are superimposing the sound again. For the MODX M and ESP for MODX M, polyphony is 12 notes for the AN X synthesis. For the Montage M and ESP for Montage M, it's 16 notes. I'll let you listen. If I set Unison to 4, you'll hear cutting notes will happen very quickly. You heard it cut off pretty quickly. If in a performance, you want to use several AN X parts, and you say to yourself, hey, I'm going to use Unison, you need to take that in count. Here, I detuned a lot, to let you hear what it produces. I'm going to widen the spread as much as possible, to have a nice Unison. But if you do that for 3 AN X parts on the same performance, you won't be able to play too much notes. My advice would be to keep the AN X Unison on the most important sound. Then on the others, we'll see what we can do by working with an effect that we can use too on AWM2 and FMX synthesis. Before that, I'll let you hear what the detune and spread settings sound like with Unison 4. You've heard that detune also brings a kind of small modulation behind it, and that's going to be very important in relation to what we're going to do later. There I was on one part. Let's go on the live set and select the varipad performance. Now we're on an FMX sound, like AWM2. It doesn't have an Unison. How can we emulate the Unison? My advice is to work with a dedicated effect set on variation. It have more adjustment range, with the effect parts end and the variation return, than as an insertion effect. What effect to choose? Let's go to the common level. Press Navigation and click on Variation at the top. And here, the effect I chose is the pitch change in the MISC category. Here you can see it. I will show you how did I make it easy to work with. First of all, you can see that there are two pitch management. We can detune by semitone here or in a fine way. For Unison, we're into fine tuning. Keep in mind that in Unison, there's also what we call harmonic unison, where we're going to superimpose the sound one octave above. This is what we have in CK stage keyboard, or subharmonic, where we superimpose it an octave below. You can do that too, which can be interesting. I'm not going to use the initial delay and the feedback level. Here, I left my volume at 127. It's easier to hear you for the video. And because, as variation, I've worked with other settings. In fact, I'm going to work with the quick edit here. These are the knobs here. I'm at the common level. Here we have the variation return, which is the amount of variation effects that I can apply to my overall performance, to simplify the things to explain. I go to the part level with my quick edit. I have the part variation send. To simplify my example, I'm going to work with these two settings, which will allow me to refine my sound simply by changing here. To keep it simple, I'm going to set the variation return to maximum, to give you the first example about the adjustment range. Don't be confused by the display here. I'm in part mode and I'm in inserter view with the chorus. If I switch to common mode, I'm on my pitch effect. It's detuned about 15 to give you something quite interesting, and I'm going to switch back to part to work on the part variation send through the quick edit knob. It reproduced this unison effect by detuning like this on the screen. I haven't used any delay. You could delay this unison emulation a little to provide a delayed unison. Be careful with the feedback. The feedback on this effect will cause a lot of modulation. So you heard, it even creates a kind of pitch modulation if you push it too hard. Be careful with this feedback setting, but it can be useful too. You can also adjust the output level. You have to find the right balance, depending on the result you want to achieve, between the variation return, the variation send, and the output level, which allows you to fine-tune to prevent too much modulation, that provide a slightly more metallic sound. Here we emulate the fine AN X Unisson on a FMX part. Let's going back to 0. Select pitch and set it to an unison of -12. So I'm going to stick with the variation return for the video, as it's easier to work There you go, you hear the balance you can achieve. I come back at the common level. It makes more sense for you. Between the variation return, the variation send, and the output level, you can see that I've set the harmonic level and the subharmonic level. You can manage both. These are some interesting things you can do with this pitch change effect. And here, I've only set one. The more you go, the more it will make the metallic modulation behind the sound. So, it's going to stray a little bit from the unison effect. It's up to you. It can create some very interesting effects too. And it works on the AWM2, FMX, and AN X as well. My advice is to use the variation effect slot for that. I found it most interesting to use, rather than having it as an insert, since the idea is also to be able to do it on several parts, and gain polyphony for AN X multiple parts. That's video ending. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found the content interesting. Feel free to click on like, and I also invite you to click on the boost button to highlight this video in YouTube suggestions. As official Yamaha expert and specialist, if you want to learn more quickly how to use or take in hand your Montage M, MODX M, ESP, Camelot Pro, or any of the Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboards that I use, or also Cubase MIDI and audio recording with them, you can request an online masterclass with me. You choose your session topic, and you can download your session video to watch it as many times as you need. If you are a Moessieurs YouTube community member, you will get 15 minutes extra time for each session. How to become a member? Just sign up on YouTube. It's a monthly subscription of €3, and you'll get more than just the 15 minutes extra time. You'll get to see all my videos in preview, without ads, almost 1 month in advance, as well as my private videos without ads too. Don't hesitate to join the Moessieurs YouTube community. See you soon for a new Moessieurs video.